Hey guys, it's Valerie. I wanted to post this video a couple of days ago, but things just got away from me. The nights have been so busy. So anyway, I'm finally getting a chance to. I'm hoping that kind of got the my iPhone is what I'm using to record, and I've kind of got that set up. So I'm hoping that you'll be able to hear okay. You know, I've tried a couple of other cameras, video cameras, like I mentioned before, and they just are not working with me. The one camera I told you, my really nice camera that my husband uses for his business, only records 5-minute long videos, which I don't know if there's a setting on there that I can mess with it or what, but it just kind of stinks. So, and then my other one, I have a little point and shoot, and it just records in a weird format. So then it takes me hours to sit there and just play around with it. So until I can just figure that out, I'm going to go ahead and keep going for my iPhone. So anyway, hi, I've missed you guys, and I have an exciting, I don't know, it's exciting for me, cycle update. I'm on cycle day 5. Yay! That means I started my period. So exciting. Very exciting. So as you know, I had taken 5 milligrams of 5 days of Provera, and I had started taking those on the 9th, and I finished on the 14th, and after 10 days there was still nothing. So I had a little bit of brown spotting is where I kind of left off with you guys last time, and then, you know, Friday I had a little bit more of the backache, and Saturday morning we had a women's event at our church for, you know, promoting the Bible studies that are coming up in the new season. So, of course, it was like I was tempting it to come subconsciously. I was wearing these light gray pants, these slacks with too much information, but only a panty liner on, because again, all week I had been kind of just spotting a little bit and noticing nothing on the panty liners, but just, you know, kind of when I was checking things. So, of course, that morning when I got to the event, it had started. And of course I didn't have a tampon or anything, so I was kind of crossing my fingers that it would kind of hold out, but the event was from 9 a.m. to like 12:30, so I was like, oh my gosh, how am I going to do this? And I was helping set up and do the PowerPoints for the speaker that we had, so it was just one of those situations where, of course, AF is going to come at the worst time possible, but I was so grateful that she did. And I was able to get some, and of course I didn't have any ibuprofen or anything with me, so I was able to get some Aleve from a good friend of mine who was there. So anyway, how exciting. And with that, I just want to say that I have such a renewed hope with the cycle. I didn't realize how long, by the way, my cycle was 65 days long before this new period started. So the longest cycle I've ever had in my life that I know of. And again, I had a renewed hope when it finally came, and I think it's because I can deal with knowing things. I can deal with having a BFN, and, you know, it's disappointing, but I can move on and start fresh in a new cycle and be okay. But with this last cycle, it was just, there was nothing. I knew I wasn't pregnant. It was just dragging on and on. I didn't know when it would come again. You know, I mean, it could have been, you know, forever from now, and 65 days was forever. So anyway, I think that I would much rather have, and I don't, you know, I don't want to say I'd much rather have, but I would rather, I'm better at dealing with the end of a cycle and being able to start fresh with a BFN than with just a super, super long cycle where I know I'm not pregnant and what's going on. So anyway, I have a couple of theories on some of my levels and things like that, but I'll kind of chat about that in a minute. Let's see. I had so much I wanted to talk about. I have notes. So anyway, and this is going to be, I'm going to be kind of filming a couple of videos tonight, so you're going to see a couple of uploads. Sorry, focus. So, Angela Lalin, she had done a vlog recently where she talked about the movie The Switch, and I don't know if any of you have seen that. It's a really cute movie, and now it's escaping me who is even in the movie. Jennifer Aniston and a guy. I don't know. Anyway, it was about the Switch, and she has this pregnancy party where she's going to get pregnant, artificially inseminated by, this donor sperm, essentially. And her best friend is this guy, and he gets really, really just hammered at this party because he's just kind of upset about it, because all this time he's really had a crush on Jennifer Aniston. And so he switches for some reason, I mean, it's a movie, I know, but for some reason they had the sample, the male sample, sitting on this warmer in one of the bathrooms. So I don't know, the friend is being really funny, and he's playing with the sample, and like acting like he's gonna dump it down the sink or something, and he actually does. Like, he ends up dumping it out or something gross. And again, he's been drinking so much that he replaces the sample with his own sample, and he wakes up in the morning and has no recollection of it. And she has no clue, so nobody has any clue. And she moves away, and then she ends up coming back like 7 years later, all this time, never really seeing her best friend anymore. And then she comes back, and the little kid just, mimics the best friend. So anyway, don't know where I'm going with this, but, well, I do know where I'm going, but not to give you the whole story. But anyway, the best friend at the end makes this statement when he's telling her what happened once he's realized it. He's telling her that he hijacked her pregnancy by switching the sample. And I thought, how appropriate, how I feel for this past cycle. So again, this was the longest cycle I've ever had. And I thought that, like, my cycle was hijacked for sure. Because what I feel happened was around cycle day, like around the time that I would have ovulated originally, if it hadn't been an atrocious cycle. That was the time where a friend of mine told me that she was pregnant unexpectedly, 2 to 3 years before they had even wanted to plan for kids. And again, while I was extremely happy for her, and she knows my situation as far as the miscarriage goes and everything, it was tough, you guys. And I've heard, I think for the Right to Walk, Maya, I think she just posted a video about it, just about how devastating it can be to us sometimes when we hear news of somebody else's pregnancy, especially, sorry, my little puppy just came over. This is Jasper. It's my little sweet puppy, and I have 2 more somewhere around this place. But anyway, he's very needy. Anyway, just about how devastating that it can be. And it was devastating for me. When I found out, first of all, it was July 11th. It was a month before our due date would have been for our baby that we miscarried. And, gosh, I may as well do these introductions. This is Mr. Sam. These are my sweet scruffy pups. And Mr. Halo is probably still downstairs. He's in a little bit of trouble. He decided to go to the bathroom in the house when we were gone. So anyway, these 2 are very needy. So my point is, I found out a month before our due date, our expected due date for our baby that we miscarried, and so I was already having a tough day that day, and I had already texted my husband that that I was having a tough day, and so yes, you wouldn't comfort me. So when she told me the news, it was just crazy. So it was just so hard for me to deal with. I came home and I went for a super, super hard long run, and I came back, and you're probably seeing my little husky in the background pass by. I just, I was bawling, and I took a shower once I got back from my run, and I just left all the lights off, and I just sat in my shower, just crying, and I was just so upset, devastated, and happy for her, so happy, but you guys know how it goes. The ache, the ache in your heart is so different, especially, I feel like if you've experienced a loss. I mean, I was still definitely, grieving, and, it's just one of those things that you can be as happy as can be for somebody else, but your heart still aches for what you want, especially, when you're trying. You're trying, probably even if you haven't experienced a loss, I'd imagine it's the same way. you know, that you're just so, you know, it hurts. It just hurts. And that's all I can say is that, anyway, so I went on a tailspin for a good, I mean, 3-4 days of just being devastated. And even now, you know, again, it's been a month and a half or so since I've known her news. She's actually about to be 12 weeks on Wednesday, I think, of next week. So, and she and I are very close, and we work together. So, it's just one of those things. And I thought that the stress of that week kind of pushed me back. And he knows he's not supposed to be on the bed. But it pushed me back, is what I thought, and so I was kind of taken aback because I had started spotting kind of around 31 days. I had this brown spotting around cycle day 31, so I thought, wow, I'm actually, you know, this is an earlier type of cycle for me, a shorter cycle, and then it just kept going and going and going. So I felt like my cycle was hijacked because, you know, just because that event happened, and I can't attribute it to, well, was it that event, or was it really just this crazy, crazy long cycle because I had that spotting in the middle of the cycle that I've never had that happen before. So my thoughts on that are kind of like, well, maybe I was going to have my cycle, my period that week, and my hormones really did get thrown off from the stress and the depression kind of thing that I was in at that moment. So, you know, I don't know. I don't know what to chalk it up to. I just know that I'm so glad that it's over, and I'm so glad that I'm on to something new, and I'm going to record a couple of, like I said, probably one more video tonight, and kind of go over some other things that I wanted to talk about, but I wanted to let you guys know that I also started a Facebook account for you know, TTC and for, you know, pregnancy journey and stuff. So please add me on there. I would love to have some more friends. I don't know how many I have right now, but my name on there, I'll post a link below. But my username is Valerie and then Valley Girl. They don't let you put any numbers after it. So it's just Valerie, Valley Girl. Like Valerie is the first name, Valley Girl is the last name. And by the way, Valley Girl comes from obviously my name is Valerie, and it comes from a nickname that some of my friends back in high school had come up with. So I don't know. People think that I'm really ditzy, I guess. I don't know, by the name. So it's not because I'm extremely ditzy, although we'll probably say like way too much anyway, but that's how I got the nickname with some friends in high school. So this video is already 12 minutes, and I feel like I've been rambling. So I do have a plan for this cycle. And I did have, as some of you may remember, I did have my SIS ultrasound scheduled for today, and I actually did have that. So please check out the next video that I'm going to post, because it has all sorts of information about what that was and about the new cycle plan, and yeah, just some other little stuff. So thank you so much, and I will record that other video in just a few moments. All right, thanks so much for your support, guys. Bye.